We're excited. I mean, I know that's our reason tonight is to hear from the legendary Kim Hui, and
Oh,
we're
yeah.
excited to bring her on. And the excitement of the GLP is has taken over our lives. Is that fair to
Oh,
say?
there she
There's
is, the
Kim.
legendary queen.
Okay, so tonight, you guys, we're so thrilled to have everyone, and more people are joining, and we're going to go ahead and get started to for time's sake. And we want to have all of you hear from Kim Hui, and she's joining us from her background says it all.
Sedona.
Sedona, Arizona, one of my favorite places. I know it's one of Kim's favorite places, and you could see the beautiful background, and the sun just starting to go down. Thank you, Kim, for taking the
Yes.
time, energy, heart to be on with all of us tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Christine. Thank you, Holly. You both are leading the way. And look at this group of beautiful people all across the globe. It's an honor and pleasure for me to be here. So thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you on, and I know you've been busy. You've been busy all over the globe, and we love to have your energy on a Zoom so people can hear your heart, hear your experience. And Christine, I know you and I have collaborated, and we're like, we have to have Kim. We have to have Kim.
Oh, absolutely. It is such a privilege and honor to work with this legend. This is the highest paid woman in the world in our industry. When I joined three, I went like, they said, Kim Hui is joining. This woman could go to any company in the world and they would pay her millions of dollars to join. And a lot of you don't know her because she's a silent giant. She's been building in Asia. She is leaving her home, traveling. I know Holly and I traveled with her. That was so much fun. And Dr. Alicia and Lisa and some of the others, I don't want to leave anybody, but we had such fun time going to Malaysia with Kim and Hong Kong and Taipei. And boy, can she eat. Boy, she would go, it's time to eat. We'd work real hard. Then we'd all go to the restaurants. And then she'd say, what do you want? She says, let's order everything. And we'd all say, how does that little woman eat so much? And she never gains any weight. And then we'd go work, and then she'd say, oh, it's time for massages. I have a great place, a secret place. So we'd all get on the bus, and then we'd go to the massage place. Then we'd come back, and this is time for dinner. Well, we have to get dressed. Oh, no. Just go like you are. And so we just had a blast. This is an extraordinary, fun, intelligent, smart, giving woman. A lot of you don't know she has built schools around the world, orphanages. She's made a lot of money, but she gives back. And tonight she's going to share her words of wisdom. I have had experience in the industry, but I always look up. I always reach up for someone that has done it better and bigger because that's how you learn. And so I am so honored to be here this evening with our teams. Holly, I know you are. She is not only our mentor, she is a great friend to us. I totally trust her and I love her so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Holly and Christine. And, actually, all that accolades belongs to both of you and your teams. I am just honored to walk alongside both of you. To kind of witness your path here in three, it's incredible for me to witness. And Christine, you are the queen. 40 somewhat years in this space. Please, Christine, you are the queen. And I will always say, Holly, you're the princess. And so, I want to say this, and I really, truly am humble and honored. And there's a word that came to mind, and I would say this, this is my 33 years. Wow, 3-3. Oh my God. Okay, what's up with this three? Okay, so this is my 33 years in this space. And I would have to say that, after spending, over 3 decades in this industry, there's a few things I've learned. And I've also learned to recognize patterns. And so the word that came to mind today in this, exchange of conversation idea would be this. There's a term called inflection points, right? So basically what it means is that the future begins to unfold differently than the past. And that's how I look at this sizzle that you guys are creating, and that the companies bring on, which is the GLP. And basically, in any business, in any company, in anything, and I would say, Christine, you are an icon in our space, and I've been blessed to be a part of the inflection in my career. And I would say this, what exactly does that mean? An inflection. So we have been building this company for 3 years. And so what inflection is the beginning as the future will begin to unfold different than the past. Because what we have done the last 3 years really is anchoring the foundation, the
Mhm.
community, the culture, the vibe that we're creating, what we have done in the last couple of years. And so what inflection is that when you have, in particularly in our industry, when you have a product that has the consumer interest, you have massive consumer interest. Not only that, there's another very important fact, another factor that must exist, and that is the shift in consumer, in public awareness. And so what does that mean? And I really want to touch upon that, is that think about this, as in a wellness space, right? The buzzword now has been peptides, and GLP, and there's the different forms, right? But when we have a product that there's public awareness about this and consumer interest, when you have a product that consumer wants and needs, you meet their need, that's when inflection happen. Now, so the way I look at it, oftentimes, Samson and some of us talk about this, Holly and Christine would talk about this. I said, can you imagine 3 years ago when we launched this company, we launched it with GLP-3. Well, you know what? There's a reason for everything. And for those of us that have worked hard to build and anchor our foundation, and more importantly, to build our own skill sets, to really discover who we truly are, what our talents are, what our abilities are, and hone our skill sets. And that's when the right thing comes along, when that inflection comes along. I'm telling you, it's exciting time. And so I had an opportunity in this career of 33 years. I had two previous inflection points. And one of them back in, I think it was 2006, I think it was, back in California, back in the days, people were talking about global warming. They were talking about the gasoline were like $7-8 a gallon back in those days. So when we had a product that meets the public, there's a public awareness, and also there's a demand for consumer. And then we
Mhm.
skyrocketed. And that was something that really took my career. That was when I really tasted what it feels like to have momentum. And the second thing was, in 2009, everybody back in those days, Barbara Walter in 2020, we talk about resveratrol, and then and the topic back in those days, adult stem cell technology were hot. So I rode that wave. And so those are the inflection points. And so for everybody, from a business standpoint or from sharing, it's just when you have something that is so hot and so different, and that the masses demand, it's no longer about recruiting. I mean, the whole landscape in this industry has changed and shifted. And I'm sure Holly and Christine will talk about their own success in the just last couple of weeks. And so after being in this career for so long, when you like in the beginning, when this product got launched, you're like, okay, if this thing is real, if people are really getting the results, then this is inflection. And here we are. So I would say that in this space, it is rare. It's very rare to have the opportunity to catch that and to jump in at this inflection point. And so, I mean, think about this. Who do you know? It's no longer, I mean, it's a lot more than weight loss. It's about metabolic health, right? And so it is absolutely phenomenal to kind of like just from the background. I remember when you guys were launching in Dallas, and I was in Asia. And so people were so excited. They have not tasted, they have not smelled it, they have not touched it, they haven't seen it. And so you guys were so excited. And this is where the seamless global platform comes in. Because of your excitement, we literally had 1,000 orders standing by. 1,000 order for the 15 bottles standing by without touching it. And so Can you imagine when this product, people getting health benefits, people experiencing results like we are here in America? Can you imagine what's going to happen in this global marketplace? And so
Mm.
I'm really, really excited to see, and I'm humbled and proud to witness Christine and Holly and many leaders on this call, and what you have done the last 3 years. I remember in the beginning, remember Holly and Christine? We were in, I don't know, Chicago, 18 city tour in America. And really was laying the foundation, learning the skill sets, learning about the roadmaps of the business. And now when you have something as hot as this in the marketplace, is truly exciting
Mhm.
to witness.
Mm. It has been. And with Kim, the 2 points you made, the public awareness, we've
Mhm.
talked through that. Everybody knows about GLP. They may not know exactly the mechanisms of GLP. They know why people are doing it and they've had hesitations. They maybe haven't done it themselves. Maybe they've tried it. Maybe it hasn't worked. Maybe it has worked great. Who knows? That the fact is, the point is they know about it. They know that
Mm.
public awareness is so strong, so strong. So now when we talk about natural GLP, the demand, the demand has been it's been the highest demand I've ever seen for a product
Mhm.
and for
Mhm.
these results. People
Yeah.
want
Holly,
the
remember you were sharing with me, Holly, you were sharing with me that you did a post and then the people were like, you got 10 people want to enroll and you don't even know them. You haven't even talked to them. So that's remarkable.
I mean,
That's
people,
the,
yeah,
see, when you have something that people want and people need, and there's awareness happening in the public, and that's when this excitement, the inflection happens. So very exciting.
Yeah.
Mm.
it is.
Yeah.
The product performs. The product is better than I dreamt of, better than when Dr. Dan talked about it on the stage in Fort Worth, Texas. It's better than what I was even thinking then. And so we love it. We love Kim. We love that she's on with us tonight. And the foundation piece with Christine and many of the leaders on here that we have built the foundation. And of course, welcome to all the new people. Did you ever pick a good time to join a company with the launch of this? And we're seeing so many new people come in. Leaders are doing better than they've ever done. They're more engaged.
Mm.
And it's right. Christine's like, when do we sleep? And I'll share from a leader perspective. I had a whole different plan for this year. And then this dropped and it was a massive pivot. I let go of whatever else and I'm like, nope, we got to change and we got to pivot and switch to what the demand is. It's fun.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yes.
would say the same thing. I went to leadership and my leaders and I, we had a plan ready to go to launch and we went, whoa, what's this? And it took us off guard and we went, oh my God. And we couldn't even, we were running so fast because the demand, we just did some simple posts and then we just had people just saying, how do I get that? And we just send the video, how do I get that? And we're going, oh my gosh. And then we're trying, as leaders, we're trying to rank up people and pull the people together. And yet we're on our own post, we posting, and then we go, oh, I got to circle around. There's somebody else that wants to know, how do I get this? It is incredible. And I will tell you, years ago, my first platform, they, I kind of have to preface this. Another big cosmetic company, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention names, but it was like Estee Lauder, one of these big companies, launched this big new product. And they did all these millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of advertising for this product. And so they kind of educated the whole public about how great that product was, just like the pharmaceutical companies have educated on the GLP-1. And then what happened? My first company came out with the same product, but blew them out of the water because Estee Lauder had to wait for the people to come into the store, but we had a sales force already, and we just blew it out. And so this is exactly what Kim is talking about. It's
Mm.
talking about public awareness and demand.
It
And
Mm.
it's
is.
not just about weight loss, let me tell you. It's don't get in, well, I haven't lost too much weight yet. No, it's the inches and it's the inside of your body, it's the sugar levels, it's all the other stuff that go around with it. It's an amazing miracle product that they won't just buy one time. That will be on their smart chip forever and ever and ever. So it's a timing, it couldn't be better.
It could not be better at
No,
all.
no.
And Kim, with your experience with, having a similar experience when you were talking about 2009 back, and when you did, what wisdom, what advice, what actions would could you share with us?
Absolutely. I think it is, I believe there's a reason why, yourself have incredible success, Holly, almost 2 decades in this space, and Christine, 40 somewhat years, and myself, 30 somewhat years. I think we can all agree to, just like in life, anytime when something land that are presented in front of us, the the one thing to aware, the journey to awareness and the journey to change, number one thing, first thing is recognize, the having the ability to recognize what you have. And so I really hope that through this call here today, this chat, this Zoom, that each and every single one of you, that you recognize opportunity now, because if you, what does it mean to recognize? To some people, it's a phenomenal product. Yes, it is. And to some, from a business standpoint, it also because of demand, because we have something to meet the masses. Then from a business standpoint, when you sense, like we all have this innate the ability to sense that you recognize that there is an opportunity here. So I think number one thing is to have the ability, give yourself permission to recognize what you have. Now, obviously, not everybody coming here to want to make money. Some do, and some are allergic to money. Nothing wrong. I mean, whoever, whatever make them vibe, right? So when you recognize that there's something here, maybe it's not for you, but you can use a product. Maybe somebody else can benefit from the opportunity. But whatever it is, you got to recognize that there's a trend happening. There's an inflection point that's here. And the second thing is once you recognize, you reflect. Okay. You reflect on yourself. Okay. Is this something, is this something for me? What are some of the things that in my life that I could use or leverage this platform to help others, to benefit myself, right? So, and the number three thing is to make that shift, at least that what is for me, okay? Number one thing is I recognize there was something and I reflect on my life. And I would say this, in 2009, my son at that time, he was 6 years old. Okay. And so I was married to a doctor, a physician. And so I remember, back in the days, and for those that don't know me, and, so when you're married to a doctor back in the days, he was on call. He was rarely home. He's a medical doctor. He works for a hospital. He also has his own medical clinic. And so he's on call. And I'm like, I wanted more time for our son. But I said, you know what? And he's working like 6 days a week. I said, you know what? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. So I said, I want to, and I don't want to ask him for money. I said, I want to do something for myself. And that's when I recognize something, then I ask myself, I reflect on my own life journey. I said, what is it? If there is something, what is something that I want to accomplish? What is something that I wanted to achieve? And so when I reflect on my own needs, my own dreams, and I go, okay, now once I recognize the opportunity, then I reflect on what I desire. Okay. And the things, and I got to reconcile that. Okay. So you recognized it, you reflected, and go, oh, I'm going to reconcile. How do we reconcile? Reconcile. So, okay, what are some of the things that I must change? What are some of the things I have to pivot? What were some of the things, that belief structures, stuff that no longer serve me? How do I go about from where I am to where I wanted to go? And then you begin to embody the change. And that was a journey to take me from that company, from zero in 14 years to become a $14 billion company. And so I know, Christian, this is a multi-billion-dollar, I love product. I would say this, in my 33 years, many of my friends that know me like really closely, they know that I am a business person and I'm rarely dive into detail. I talk about business all the time. Obviously, product must be sound, because in order to generate a sustainable, lasting residual income, You got to have a product that's consumed by the masses and that is
Mhm.
effective. That's useful and so that's valuable. So when you have such a product, that's how you're able to generate residual income, right? And so, but I would say this whole industry, because of social media, technology, literally, completely, utterly is changing the way we conduct this business. And so the way I look at it, and Christine, we can pivot the question back to you later on, is that what I witnessed is an incredible shift in people's the way the perception about what this business is and the way in which they engage in this business. So to my fellow entrepreneurs on this call, I would encourage each and every single one of you, really just ask yourself, do I recognize this as an opportunity? Is this something that could serve me and my family? Okay. And the last thing is, how do I reconcile this? Okay, now I see it, I reflect on it. What must I do? What are some of the stuff that I must embody? What changes must I embody to achieve and manifest the dream that I want? And so I would say this, that now the business side is very different because you have such a loud talking product. I mean, the way I would say, you have such a talking product, there's such a thing, right? Then people would say, I don't give business, not I want to get this product. So I would say this, product, direction, trend, we're spot on. And it's just upon each and every single one of you to do those three R's. To recognize, to reflect, and to reconcile what you must do, and so like for myself, and I would say this, everybody in this space, look, I mean, look, Christine, you are an icon. I was at the right place at the right time, and timing from a company standpoint, timing from a product that came into the marketplace and the awareness of the public. And I took action. I embodied the changes, the things that I wanted to do. And that's why I was blessed to make a little bit of money in this space. And so, and the impact. And so, I actually have a question for both of you here today. Okay. And so I would say this. And by the way, I want this to be interactive and that's how I work my whole life. And so I have a question for you, Miss Christine. Okay. And after spending over 4 decades on your iconic journey, okay, so I want to ask, what was the pivotal moment for you that you turn your potential into impact? And not only that, not only turning that from your potential, you were a school teacher, turning from your potential to impact, but more importantly, how you are able to teach others and help others to become successful. So I want to ask that question of you so that our audience, everybody on this call, we're all entrepreneurs and this is not about one person talking. I tell you, it's not about how much money we made in the past. It's about your heart, who you are, your depth, who you are, your resonance. And so I watched how the two of you work, and I couldn't be more proud and couldn't be more grateful to be aligning with people like both of yourself. So, Christine, I would love to hear from you. What was that
Wow.
inner drive at your age?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, that fire horse.
Well, really, it's like, yes, I'm a fire horse, and I've got lots of fire horses coming right up where we have a big team. Um, yeah, I really started this industry later in life. I started when I was almost 40 years old um, because I wanted more for my life and my family, and I really wanted to help people. I love people. This is really not about me. And when you learn, it's not about you, but it's about your people, and the more people you help fulfill their dreams and pull them up, you will have it all. It's so when I started, I could not even honestly, I couldn't even imagine making a gazillion dollars. In fact, when they said to me, "What would you like to make?" and I said, "Well, if I could just make another $4,000, I'd be happy," because I was trading time for money, time for money. I'd been stuck in this what I've been taught my whole life, and so I had to make a shift. That I saw the opportunity, and I decided I'm going for it. I thought the only way I could fail is just to quit or not do it. And so I focused. Now, see, here's the thing. What Kim is really talking about, you have to have a great product, but it's really about building people. It's about building people. And so I understood that very early on. The only way I could get to the top was to build leaders. The greatest leader is the one that builds the most leaders.
Mm.
And some people never could think that. They just got focused on the little product. Like some of you today are just so excited about this liquid gold, and it is wonderful. It's gonna make us all so skinny and rich for sure. But this is bigger than you. This is about helping people fulfill their dreams, and you teach them how to get there, but then
Mm.
you teach them how to do the same thing. You
Mm.
see, this is that we're always building behind. And I knew I needed to build leaders. And so I built right out. I just sold a dream. What are your dreams? Let's go. I'm right there with you. We're going to run together. And we ran. Along the way, there were people that kind of didn't see the dream so much or gave up on their dreams, but I never let that stop me. I just continued on, and then I moved on, and then I remember building these seven leaders, and then by like a year, this is my first year in the industry. This is important for you to understand. I and I could have just given up.
Mm.
Sometimes you don't see it. You put all this hard work, this time in, and then you go, oh, maybe this doesn't really work. And then you listen to all the naysayers around you. But I said, no. I'm
Mm.
not letting anyone stop my dream. And so then I moved to Houston. I didn't know one person. I said, I'm building. I don't care what those people do that didn't come with me. I'm going with or without them. I know there are other people that need this as much as badly as I did, and I needed money. I needed money. Let's be honest about it. Teaching school doesn't give you too much money. And my husband had been changed in his career, and much like him, that we knew that if we wanted to have a different lifestyle, we had to
Mhm.
step it up. And
Mm.
so I built and I sold the dream. I
Mm.
sold the dream. I moved into a city that there were already leaders in this company. And I said, we're going to be the biggest area here in Houston, Texas. And everybody
Mm.
looked at me like, what? Who is she? What is she? And I said, and nobody follows a parked car. So
That's right.
they started following. And you have to have that belief. It's an unshakable belief that you can do this. And we started, and then we had a few people, two or three people. I went out and found them myself.
Christine,
And
I want to pivot for a second. Because I watch how you work, and like now, I'm going to preface this for the audience, okay? And that is, Christine came. I mean, icon. Those of you if you study this industry, she's iconic. And now, when she came into three, I remember watching her. In the beginning, she was just a 3-star, working her way up to 3-star. She wasn't elite. She wasn't, 4-star, whatever. And she would show up. Now, keep in mind, an iconic figure in before people would roll up red carpets, pick her up, and have bodyguards to guard her on stage. But when I met her at in three,
Mm.
she was showed up early at the event. She was like putting stuff on on the chairs to reserve seats for her team. You talk about humbling experience. And I really want to get it out there. Every single one of us, this platform is as much about life work as business. It's life work. To watch someone, a giant, that come back in as a brand new rookie, as if, right? And reserving seats for their people. So here's someone that put the best interest for their team at first. People that have made millions, they're like, no, I am it factor. You need to respect me. In this business, it doesn't work like that. You want respect, you earned it. And so, Christine, my hat's off to you. You know what? You is such an iconic hero, and you humble enough to work from beginning and continue to lead your team. Christine, I just couldn't be
thank
more
you.
proud. That's why I call you the queen. You
Oh,
are truly the queen. And
well,
Samson and I always joke about it. It's like, they don't make people like that anymore. But you know what? All of us in this call, we're gonna change that. Okay. We're new race of humanity. We need to get all that back. No more entitlement. You want respect? earned it. You want to build it, earned it. And so anyway, coming back to this, Christine, you are beautiful. Now, so
Oh,
let's
thank you.
pivot a
Thank you.
little bit. Okay. So I
Thank
want to
you.
ask you, Holly. Holly, you have such a success in this space as well. And I would
Hmm.
say this, Holly, over my career, I've met a lot of people. And it's you have a very special gift. And that is I have rarely meet people that build a business with such clarity and structure.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I watch how you lead your team. You know, you're in Arizona, you're flying to Iowa, and then I went to Iowa with you and you wouldn't feed me until 10 p.m. You worked me from morning to 8 until 10 p.m. Okay. And so, and your clarity, the way you
Yeah.
lead, I want to ask
Yeah.
if someone like yourself to go from potential to impact, I want to ask what are some of the mindsets and key habits that one must have to make it? And I think this is very pertinent
Hmm.
for all
Hmm.
our entrepreneurs on this call here tonight.
Mhm. Great question. And I will never make that mistake of not feeding Kim again. um, First of all, I treat this like a business. So I approach it like a business. And that is the mindset that I have around it. And that's the posture I have. That's the confidence I have. I know what the gifts that this business gives to us. I worked corporate for 8 years. I did that. I had I've gone through my own financial struggles with being laid off and then building it and then even leaving my last company and dealing with some chaos there. And it's always keeping your eye on the prize.
Hmm.
Always keeping your eye on the prize, not letting the lows get too low, not letting the highs get too high. And it's really this laser focus where we all have distractions. Every single one of us has distractions, and our distractions are equal. It's what we choose to focus on. It's how we choose to, respond. And so with distractions, I just have to shoo them off. I have to shoo them off and keep my eye on where I'm going. And as this has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, this is a decision that it's a response. This is a responsibility. This is a responsibility to the people that have followed me, the
Hmm.
many three-way calls, the Zooms, everything. Like me getting up in the morning is fueled by passion. I love what we have here. I love that we're a young company. I love what we're building, and we have our own cultures within our teams and then overall. And even days where it may seem not, there's not those days right now for sure, but days where it may seem a little like, okay, here we go. It's a responsibility because there's
Hmm.
people that have made decisions to join us, to join you. And
Hmm.
how are we showing up for them? And
Hmm.
I take that seriously, because that's integrity. How I show up is how I would want other people to show up
Exactly.
within the team and the business and for their families and for their friends. I mean, how many of us have those friends that we could call in the middle of the night? It's showing up like that.
Mm.
And I'll share this. In my first company, in the beginning, I thought I had to be best friends with everyone. I don't know if that's a rookie mistake. And I quickly learned that there are people absolutely we are going to connect with and be friends. But the bottom line is we're not going to be best friends with everyone. This is a business. And how I can help people the most is to be the light and to pour into them and to help mentor them with my wisdom. I learned from Christine Peterson. I've learned from Kim Hui. She is the reason why I am in the
Yeah.
6-star range. I'm past 6-star, right? But she's the reason when I hit 5-star, 6-star. I've never worked with anyone like her ever. And I recognize that from the very moment that I met her face to face in Las Vegas. I knew that there was too many synchronicities of what I was hearing from her. And I did not hesitate. I make my decisions very much on instinct, on you may call it gut instinct, mine's intuitive. I just know. I know. And I knew in that room, I knew right away the position I was placed in. And I made the decision to be coachable. Coachable is one of the most amazing gifts you can give yourself. Learn from people that have already paved the road for you, that have done the walk, and to be coachable and to learn, yes, ask questions and work through things. Absolutely. And that's what I made the decision to do. And I love it that other people can do the same thing and emulate that and still be their own person, still be their own
Mm.
person. So I don't know how I answered the question, but
You
there
did
you
great. You guys did great. And I always say this, I witnessed it both of you, and there's a common thread on how both of you work. It's that discipline. It's not what you do when people are watching. It's what you do when your team is not watching, day in, day out. I mean, I remember Christine, I was in Taiwan one time, and you were, I don't know, wherever you were doing events in Dallas or something. You would fly from, I don't know, Colorado, Dallas, and then you flew to Taiwan. And I'm like, hey, Christine, you did a long haul. Why don't you just relax? Let's go to the lounge, enjoy a cup of coffee. No, 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 I gotta meet my people. I'm like, Christine, relax a little bit. I mean, you were relentless. Morning to night, you stay at the lounge, you meet with people, group after group after group, buy them lunch, buy them dinner. I mean, I'm like, man, when I grow up, I want to be like you, Christine. And Holly, I mean, my gosh, I know you have a beautiful house in Arizona and you have your dog, but you know what? You like just sitting back and forth and doing so many calls and meetings. And I know especially with the GLP, you guys are like constantly like I remember what Antoinette said. Ever since the product launched, she felt like she glued to her chair for 3 weeks. It is the way that I watch you guys work. It's the discipline. And you in life, in business, there are constantly there are noises. There are noises that being brought, distractions that's everywhere. But you know what? At the same time, what's broadcasting to you are signals. So what do we do? When there are noises, when to achieve something in life, you got to focus on the signal what you want. Company perfect? Heck no, no perfect. People perfect? No, no perfect. But at least we got an incredible product on hand right now that there's something for each and every single one of us here. And I would say this because this is the experience. When if I haven't gone through that going from zero to become billion dollar company, I wouldn't be able to tell you. Like I'm sure you all can relate to this. Have you ever had an experience in life that you gone through it and you're trying to explain to someone who has not gone through it? They wouldn't get it. But if you have an experience in life and you try to tell somebody, they go, yeah, I went through the same thing. So they resonate with you. And so it's the same thing. And we have what we have built the last 3 years. We have an incredible community of people that collaborate together, that work together, people that have the same vibe. We vibe together. Now, of course, there's ups and downs. There's things out there that's not perfect, but don't let that distract you. Like what Holly says, to her, it's a business. So she focused on that signal and not the noises. And so, and I would say, this is what I was sharing with Holly earlier and Christine, because I guess Holly was asking me, what was it like to hit momentum? And I was telling her, now this back in the days we were doing meetings, right? And I remember that's when we had iPad, this is like 2009, okay? So when we were at meetings, when the speaker was talking and some of our leaders were sitting below like in the meeting, and they would be like swiping. They were swiping their back office to look at their cycles. And so Holly was saying, we're going to get a lot of people doing the swiping, And so it's really, really fascinating, amazing experience for me to have done, momentum, one time, but multiple times. And so I would say this, and we could talk all day long, but I would say this. If somebody were to ask me, what is my how would I look at and what is the best way to build this business or to build life? And I would say this, whatever you do, always keep your curiosity, the curiosity to step into the unknown. And the curiosity of the possibility that's impossible for you. And so have that curiosity because it is so easy that because of things happen in life, we lose that fire. We lose that spark. Don't. Keep that spark going. Have that curiosity or possibility, your potential. All that is. We are all beautiful lights. Keep that. Okay. And second is that when things are not working the way that you aspire it to, then have reflection, you know, because oftentimes in life it's so easy to blame somebody, for this, for that. And you know, in this industry particularly, because we're dealing with people business, it truly magnifies each of our own triggers in life. And so I would suggest people, look, you know, when things don't go your way, reflect. You know, is it noises that we've been listening to? Is it, are we catering to distractions? How do I go back to, so reflect and learn to integrate the things that were not, learn to integrate in the processes that were not working, and integrate from what other people have been having great success, learn from them and integrate that. Okay. And last but not least, I would say this. If somebody would ask me, Kim, what is that one of my weakness in this space? If there's such a thing, right? I believe your weakness is also your strength. At least that's how I look at it. And my weakness is I care too deeply. I care, like Christine, she care about her people. And I care deeply about the people I'm working with. You got to have that compassion, that purpose-driven thing. And so, you know, sometimes when you care so deeply, sometimes like you see someone's potential, almost like you want it more for them than they want it for themselves. And so obviously, there are times I have to learn to balance. Okay. And so, and so that's how I would look at it. And I mean, we can talk all we want, but I really wanted to share these 3 points. And because you know, Holly and Christine want to do this call, and I looked at my life. I said, what are some of the 3 things of everything I know about me? What were some of the 3 attributes about me? Because when I run the business, I don't look at this as just a business. To me, it's family. I'm building this. It's a family business. I mean, Holly, Christine, we eat together, we play together. And I would do, finally, I'll do a plug-in, okay? I drove to Sedona, I think a couple of days ago, 2 days ago. And I stopped by Phoenix to meet Holly. Now, I was abroad, so I didn't have the product. So Samson was so kind to give me a bottle of the GLP. So I did it for 1 week. Now, those of you that know me, I love to eat. And so with the GLP for 1 week, I didn't wait myself, okay? But for 1 week, I found myself eating hamburger and French fries, okay? And so I went out of product. So when I was coming to Sedona, I stopped by Phoenix and I had dinner with Holly. And so Holly knows I love noodles and pasta. So we ordered pasta. And I think Holly is shocked. For the first time, I only ate half of my pasta, which is, it never happened, okay? And my body really was craving for a lot of protein. And so, I mean, like I have much less craving for carbs, but I crave more like barbecue, which as soon as I'm done with this call, I'm going barbecuing. So anyway, so and that's my little plug in on GLP. But the point is, everybody, I am super humbled to be in your presence, all of you. I see beautiful faces here, and I'm grateful for Dr. Dan for his work to come up with the product so timely and so convenient. And so thank you, each and every single one of you, for your dedication the last couple of years. I remember I went to Dallas many times and seeing Antoinette's ranking up to 4-star, seeing LJ, ranking up to elite. It's just incredible. So I can't wait to see you guys ranking up and really, really helping out people and making a positive contribution to society. And more importantly, really tapping into your potential and turning that potential and turning that into impact to humanity. So with that, thank you for having me, Christine and Holly. And it's an honor and pleasure for me to be seeing all of you on this call tonight.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Kim. As usual, I have notes. I always take notes when Kim talks.
Right.
Always.
Me too.
And we will have a recording. I know people have asked that, and absolutely we will. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for your attentiveness. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Christine. Thank you both. This has been awesome. This is amazing. It's beautiful. We love it. We need to do it again.
Right.
We'll work on it. Everyone, we will work on it.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kim.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Good night.